Okay, welcome back to combat mission Fortress Italy. Obviously it's winter again, so we're going to do a battle in the snow, and again we've gone for this kind of try to make an interesting but short game. We don't want something that's going to go on forever and nothing happens. I may eat those words by the end of it, because obviously I don't know what's going to happen yet, but we're giving it a go. So I'm playing against DoubleVision, who also has the Combat Mission YouTube channel. Go check that out. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to cause me some problems, should we say. We've set the game up so that we have the French, the free French from the Rome to Victory module, versus the German airborne, the Fallchirmjaeger. So for the turn by turn, we're also doing a mirror game. I should add that bit in, that's important. A mirror game is we play both sides, so simultaneously while I'm playing this one as the French, I'm also playing it as the Germans in another game. So we're basically doing two of the same game but playing both sides. That way it's a little bit more even. And obviously we play them at the same time so that you can't kind of gain any other knowledge. So as these games go on, areas of terrain or chunks of the map or certain units can show themselves to be very important. And we don't want to have one player gaining an advantage by seeing that in advance. So that's going on. Doubles also, I believe, intends to make videos of it, so should be able to see both sides, which is always fascinating. The map we're on is number 425. It has a proper name somewhere. Let's see, is it in the briefing? Yes, 425 meets more mountainous. Exciting. And yeah, we're fighting over a ridge in the mountains somewhere in Italy. So the dominant feature of the map is this chunk of high ground in the middle, and it pretty much cuts the map in half. When you zoom out, we kind of got a diagonal. So there's these three objectives, 0.373, 0.404 and 0.388. And obviously 388 is my kind of home objective, 373 is the German home objective, and then 404 in the middle, on the even higher ground, is the the one that's up for grabs. So what's going to make this interesting is, apart from the fact that it's a meaty engagement over a ridge, it is the actual makeup of the forces. So obviously the German Fallschirmjäger are quite lightly equipped. It's an infantry focused force. I know they can bring Marders. Marders 1 and 2s, because it's only 1943, December 43 here. They don't have the Panzerschreck. Hasn't been issued out yet. They've got Panzerfausts, but only Panzerfaust 30s, which have a range of 30 meters. So it's interesting to have a German force that isn't fantastic in the anti-tank capability department. Then the French are also a kind of infantry-focused force. They do have access to some tanks, but that's basically Stuarts, M8 howitzer motor carriages, which is a Stuart with a 75mm short-barreled howitzer jammed in the turret. And that's it at this stage of the game. I think I could also have brought some half-tracks, but where are they going to go? The terrain is not amazing for armour. We see all these areas like this with the rocks in. It's too rocky for tanks. So it's very you know, infantry-centric terrain, which could be a problem for the French, because if I find, can I find a French infantry squad? There we are. The French are organised in the same way as the Americans. So we have a squad of 12, split into 3 fire teams. Each platoon has 3 squads, and then each company has a weapons platoon with 2, where are we? M1917s? I can't remember. Oh, M1990s. M1917 is the big one. Those helmets, it's nice. Shame about the dressing gowns, but can't have everything. 2 MGs, 2 light MGs, and what they call it? Yeah, 3 60mm mortars. So, if you watch the Road to Montaberg campaign, it's the same kind of company-level organisation. The difference is in the actual weapons. So, the French don't have the M1 Garand. They have either... have I got one with a mix? Yes. We have either the M1903A3 Springfield, which is absolutely not a Mauser, even though it looks exactly like it, has the same action and everything. Ahem. To the point that the Mauser Corporation was suing the United States at one point. Either the Springfield or the M1917 Lee Enfield. Or Enfield. So that is also very similar to a Mauser. And yeah, so essentially, I think because of the way they rechambered it to fit 30-06, it can fit in 6 rounds in the magazine instead of 5, because it's not a rimmed cartridge, or some kind of ridiculous small detail, something like that. The upshot is that, yes, I have 12 men in the squad, but they're armed with bolt-action rifles. Or relatively low-capacity bolt-action magazine rifles. Whereas the Americans obviously have the Garand, which is semi-automatic with the 8-round on-block clip. So that's interesting. And then we've got the MG, which has apparently an FM 2429, which I haven't really looked up. I feel like that's a Bren. Not just because of the magazine sticking out the top, but some of the other features. Which is in 7.5mm caliber. Really? I might have to actually go double check that, but that means that if he's only got 250 rounds of ammo, I may not have thought this through as well as I thought I had. But yeah, so down at squad level, yeah, a reasonable amount of firepower, but if you look at one of the Fallchirmjaeger squads, it's got 2 submachine guns, 2 MG42s, and the rest have rifles, apart from the MG ammo bearers who just have pistols. Don't want to be them. But yeah, so kind of squad to squad, the Fallchirmjaeger are gonna come out on top, I think. You know, they have a lot more organic firepower. So how I'm trying to get around that is I want to leverage the Stuarts. I brought 4 of them. So I've got, where are we? Got 2 over here. And of course they all have real person names. Or not real person names, but the Adopt a Pixel Truppen initiative is in full swing. So here we have Donger. You couldn't have an AT gun, unfortunately, because I cut that out. And Renier, or however you pronounce it. Over here we've got Ney, who, come on, he's not a squad leader. He has to be a cavalryman. It's Marshal Ney, for God's sake. Why we couldn't paint the top of the Stuart red or something, I don't know. And then over here we have Strong Hussar, because seriously, you can't be a Hussar and not be in a tank these days. Put little wings on the back. The idea is that despite the fact that the terrain is grotesquely unsuitable for tanks, I'm banking on DoubleVision coming to that conclusion and saying, I don't need to worry about tank support. I don't need to worry about anti-tank capability. or not taking as much of it as he would do normally, because this terrain isn't good for tanks. So we'll see how that goes. But the Stuart, I think, a bit like I said in, I think, one of the Road to Monteverg videos, it gets overlooked. Because, you know, it's got a 37mm pop gun, and it's just got a couple of machine guns. But in this terrain, if you can't kill it, that's a 37mm gun and 2 machine guns that you can't kill. And the 37mm might sound all kind of small and puny, but smaller caliber means faster rate of fire. Smaller caliber means more ammunition carried. I mean, look at the... might be a bit small for you guys, but 88 rounds of high explosive. 15 rounds of canister. Canister! Do like canister more than, you know, I should do probably, but... So that's the idea. Having got 4, if I can get them into dominant positions on the map, I feel like Double's going to have a hard time, because how is he going to deal with them? He either has to get within 30 meters with a Panzerfaust, which I should be able to avoid unless I go full potato. More words that I'm going to regret later. Or he has to get an AT gun into position, or he has to bring up a Marder. The Fallchirmjaeger also have access to some of the flak vehicles, but I've tested them out. I don't think they're going to kill a Stuart from the front. Maybe the sides, but not the front. So that's like my ace in the hole. The other ace in the hole is the terrain. So if we look at this and think about how I'm going to attack each of these objectives, in the center, it's kind of, you know, neutral ground. So I can come up here, and then we have the crest, and coming up here, anybody pretty much on the objective, just about, or along the top, is exposed to fire from both sides. So if my troops go up here, Double's going to have troops over here on these ridge lines. That's where my Germans are in my game. Who are going to be able to shoot them as they skyline, as they crest the summit. And equally, if Double brings people up here, I'm going to be able to shoot them with my guys down at the bottom of the hill here. So we kind of have, you know, this is what you get with a ridgeline. You have a reverse slope on either side. So here in the middle, I am not making a run for this objective. This objective is going to be bait. So I have down here a customized... where are we? Scout platoon. There we go. So this is the Pioneer platoon from the Infantry battalion. I've just renamed it. Cut out the Pioneers and then just put a load of Scout teams in. And because Scout teams are really cheap, 35 points, they're also quite cheap to upgrade in experience because it's on a per pixel Truppen basis. These guys, their job is to go up and just kind of lurk around the bottom of the crest here and shoot any of Double's men who pop up. And I want them to be a major kind of pain in the ass, but at the same time look weak enough that he might try and push it. And they're going to be supported... Oh, well, we'll go through the names first. So the platoon commander is Rocketman. And then from left to right here, we have Dapper Megalon Jones Slattery, who you just about can't make out, hiding in a bush there. The name's slightly too long as well, which isn't great. In the centre, we've got Snafu with the flamethrower, which I don't think is going to be very effective, but I couldn't resist. Then we have Nathan Gunn. And on the far right, we've got KOB. Each scout team has 2 Tommy guns, 2 M1 Thompsons, and a rifle. Sometimes these are scoped. Sometimes they're just Enfields. Oh, the non-flamethrower operator in Snafu's team has... well, in fact, Snafu has the M1 carbine. The other guy in there has the flamethrower. So like I say, these guys' job is to run up to the top of the hill and occupy just below the crest in a defensive position. They're going to be supported by my mortars. So these are from the weapons company. 81mm mortars. Why are mortars so useful in this setting? Well, first of all, we agreed that we weren't going to have any off-map artillery. And the reason for this is, you know what I would do if I had off-map artillery? I would pick an objective I don't want Double to take, like his home one, and just drop a 155mm arty barrage on it, on like a, you know, maximum harass. And this is such a small objective, it is untenable if a 155mm airbursting shell is landing on it like once a minute. So I think that would remove some dynamism from the game, should we say. So there's no off-map support, which basically limits everybody to 81mm mortars max, and there's no target reference points. So the mortars, why are the mortars useful then, apart from the fact that they're the only kind of artillery type thing I can bring? They're useful because mortars can engage slightly beyond slopes. So for example, I've set them all up so that they can hit kind of this back slope area of the ridge. So what I want to do, I kind of want to use this as bait. I want to lure Double in, and then I want to hit him with the mortars and the arty, and not the arty. Don't have any arty. And then, you know, the terrain is important, the ground objectives are important. What I really need to do, though, is destroy the enemy. It's about killing Germans. Just like in the mirror game, it's all about killing Frenchmen. So where are we? So that's where the mortars are set up to do. So here we have Hutchinson's mortar platoon, or mortar section, with Pavlik Morozov in the second team, with Cycle Solvate. I'm not going to be able to pronounce half of these. This is mortar bearer. Sprogue 2142 has the other mortar, and we have James as his ammo bearer. The ammo bearers in this instance I knocked down to conscript because it knocked a huge amount of points off. And if I have to fight with them, something's probably gone wrong somewhere. So yeah. Where's my other mortar section? This ended up over here. Less of a good position because I have a feeling Double's gonna, or I'm kind of want Double to attack over here. I want him to be, you know, strong on this objective and attack here. And so I've set up kind of a reverse slope defense. The problem is getting these mortars, there's the mortar platoon, in a position where they can kind of cover that and cover this without being excessively exposed. Yeah, kind of tough. But anyway, this mortar platoon, we have Sean Kong with the hat. Where is it? I believe it's called a kepi, but don't quote me, I'm probably wrong. And Gallic facial hair, I think. Then we have Andrew Duda and Sam Harlan, and then Top Hat and McDaniel. Also defending on this left bit here, we have the MGs from the weapons platoon under Stein. So we have Vandus backed up by Masu, and then Gluth backed up by Hunol. And Reno, I don't know. Huno and Masu are a cock-up. They're the original French names because I just must have skimmed over them. In all seriousness, trying to input 50 names into the system was actually a bit of a stretch, especially seeing as though there were more names. So if your name isn't in it, sorry, but I had to basically put them all in a spreadsheet and then had Microsoft Excel pick 6 names at random that I couldn't fit in. I'll try and make sure you get in the next one. Where were we? Yeah, so the MGs are also set up where they can cover that slope there. And of course they can also from down here cover, shoot up any German forces coming over the top. Plus, for this flank we also have a strong Hussar and the Stuart, and one of the infantry platoons. So I only brought basically I bought a heavily reinforced company. Which could end badly, because as the Germans I brought 2 companies. So yeah. But over here on the left, that's the mortar platoon. Each rifle platoon is backed up by a sniper section, which is bumped up to elite because that is extremely cheap, and a scout team, which is also on veteran, and then we got the Thompsons and the Satchel Charges and that kind of thing. So over here, this team, this platoon, their goal is to take up a position over here and then use this reverse slope as a killing field. So this is Nam Lee's platoon with Mason M, Lewis, and Saavedra. Even though you gave me some guidance, I'm still not going to pronounce that right. As leading the rifle squads. And then we have von Schaller in the scouts, and Nguyen, the Vietnamese one, as the marksman with a Springfield. Vietnamese, not completely outlandish at all to be fighting with the French. Indochina was a French colony. That said, this is probably, we're kind of in Foreign Legion territory here. I think there's an awful lot of, awful big mix of people, different names and backgrounds. So that kind of takes care of the left and most of the center. The big showpiece, I think, is going to be on the right. I'm relatively confident I can keep him off here, especially with the mortars. But on the right, this is the area I think is going to be the most important. This is the key terrain. So we can kind of see we've got 0.388 here. And 388 gives me the opportunity, because of the layout, the lie of the land, and the shape of the terrain, to see onto double side of the main ridge. So I have the 2 Stuarts on this side, Donga and Renier. They're coming up onto here into a defilade position behind this chunk of high ground, to where they can cover off this side of the mountain. So the idea is that if I can keep that clear, that's going to do one of 2 things. The second thing we'll get onto later. The first thing is that it's going to make this whole avenue of approach for double untenable. Because you don't want to be advancing up here with 237 mils pouring canister and 4 machine guns shooting at you from a vehicle that you can't really do anything about. So that needs to be a kill ground, kill zone. And of course that's going to lessen the stress on this area and encourage double to attack the ridge on a more narrow front from this side. Or to push here. And like I say, I've set up to the defense down here to counter this, and if he comes up here, I'm hopefully going to mortar the snot out of him. In a similar vein, my right-hand rifle platoon is also going to exploit the terrain by pushing up this valley, or this side of the ridge. So this is a covered approach, so Double's not going to be able to see me coming, unless he gets up here first, which is what I'm trying to do in my game as the Germans. But I'm going to have some assets. I'm going to have a rifle squad, a mortar, one of the light mortars, and a sniper team covering that, so I should be able to get away with it. Once we're up here, we can get some observation into that same area. Bring the sniper up, bring... I have a light mortar down here. Yep, that's Stardeck with the light mortar. I can bring that up here, and this is a pretty safe position in combination with the effects of the Stuarts. So this rifle platoon is under Sierra, or Lieutenant Sierra. And the rifle squads, we've got Berry, Sten, and Sator, I don't know. The scouts, we've got Yastremensky, who is a Russian emigre apparently. And the sniper team is Blaze Baguette. We'll see how well that goes. Meanwhile, to complement the killing field here, Marshal Ney is going to be zipping up here as fast as he can to get into a complementary defilade position here. So any attack that's going to unhinge the assets over here is going to come kind of across this bit of ground. So what I want is Marshal Ney up here with another 37mm and 2 machine guns, covering this angle off and making life very unhappy for anybody that's there. And from there, you get the opportunity. He's also, because of the ground, I can actually plonk him right on top of here, and we can do some, grazing fire, grazing enfilade on the ridge if it's safe. Probably won't be, but we'll see. So that's Ney, and then in support of Ney, we've got the final rifle platoon. That is Zio Sissio in command. Then third squad is McDonald's. Welfer is that squad. Where's my other one? Madrak. Then the scouts are Natole, and the rifleman, marksman rather, is Mortimer. These guys are also backed up by another light mortar under Don, and again the same kind of idea. A lot of this is going to be some of these infantry squads are going to be moving into reserve kind of down here, or in a position to support P388 if it comes under pressure, or .404 if that comes under pressure. But again, the sniper, mortar team, etc., stuff to help with the spotting. Why is the spotting important? Well, obviously it always is, but we're fighting in a blizzard. It's not a very blizzardy blizzard because the wind's only at medium, I think. Oh, there's no wind. Okay, but it's heavy snow. Visibility is reduced to a maximum of 340 meters. So I want to help out the Stuarts, especially who are going to suffer a fair bit from poor spotting because, they're just looking through little holes in the tank and not fantastic optics. So that's the broad plan. It's probably going to go completely wrong, but we'll see. There's some other names in here. Have I missed? Yeah, so Baxter is the weapons platoon HQ. Battalion commander is DC, because he was the one who suggested this. The A company commander is Nick. And where's my... D company HQ is Rob KP. I think that's all the names. Obviously, the names only apply to the leader of the team and or squad / vehicle at the start of the game. So if the leader gets shot, that's it, you're dead. And the game picks another name randomly, or has them lined up, or something like that. And it'll be a default French name. So, I think that's about everything. Hopefully I've remembered to turn the mouse on, so you can see the mouse cursor this time, and the voice, the mic for the recording, because I don't usually have it on. And I don't have to do this all again. But, regardless, let's just press go and see what we get on this first turn. Where can I stick the camera? Let's stick the camera about here, just so we can get that overview. It's turn number 1, not expecting a massive amount, which is usually the cue for something to go terribly wrong and like lose a Stuart instantly on turn 1 or something like that. Just watching, was it Renier in front? No, Donga out in front, getting all nervous. Especially since this has taken a little while to sort out. Some of the files did some strange things. So we'll see double mentioned Marders. So if we start off with a Stuart getting a hole in it, like a 75mm shaped hole, he might have brought more Marders than I thought he has. But no, doesn't look like it. Yeah, so nothing particularly exciting there. It is a little tricky with these two tanks. It's a bit like, do I want to put them out and, you know, to show my hand this early? Or, you know, how much smarter would it be to let Double come up here and then spring them on him? That's, you know, that is a fairly tough question. On balance, I want to make him do things. So I think demonstrating that they're there, or I want him to react in a certain way, showing him that they're there is going to influence him. It's going to make him react to me. Because something I don't really want, you know, looking at the terrain, there is this kind of dip here. Not impossible for someone to get up here with a Panzerfaust and just hit one of these. So I want to be a little bit intimidating over here. We also have this kind of refuse flank concept going on. So I'm going to refuse my right flank and present weakness or emptiness on my left, which should hopefully encourage him to attack this way into the kill zone on this reverse slope. And I'll try not to worry too much about the fact that when he comes over here, he's going to be shooting down on all my troops. But yeah, we are getting into position pretty quickly. Except Ney, who appears to have... Maybe I screwed his orders up somehow. I don't know what he's doing there. Maybe he's just living up to his namesake of, what are you doing now, Marshal Ney? Please don't charge those squares. Another point to bear in mind here is that I'm not trying to put any infantry into this objective, and that's because I would certainly expect this to have the snot mortared out of it. Absolutely, this is a fantastic mortar target, so I know, we'll see if it's going to be a good idea to have the TCs out of their hatches. So obviously an 81mm mortar is not going to destroy a Stuart. Unless the hatch is open and the round falls through the hatch and blows up in the turret and you get a catastrophic decimation. That does happen. The game models stuff like that. But very, very unlikely. So we'll see if that's a good idea. Apart from that, everybody is, yeah, just doing their thing. And yeah, like I say, turn number 1, it's always a little bit... Oh, you are having some kind of pathfinding potato moment, aren't you? Lord. Let's slow it down a little bit, because the faster he goes, the more likely it is that he's going to make some kind of dumb decision. So yeah, always with the waypoints, trying to avoid sharp corners if possible, and lots of little waypoints usually better than one big one. So yeah, not much else to say there. Let's move this other platoon up a little bit. Can these guys actually see up there? Yes, they can. Yeah, star deck with the mortar. I'm just going to, for now, leave those guys at least in their in their little, in their squad. You know, without splitting them down. Yeah, a little bit bunched there, but yeah, probably be okay, that'll be alright. Oh, you're lost. Oh, that's, yeah, Niftarik. Forgot about you. He's that Mortar platoon... Ah, he's the Mortar platoon HQ, isn't he? I completely forgot about you. This is what happens when I have too many things to think about. Congratulations, you're an FO. You're going up here. So yeah, that'll do for now. Don't have a name for this yet, we'll figure it out. But I'll see you in the next video, which for you should hopefully be tomorrow.